What's up, everybody? Noah is back here for a top 10 worst Hallmark list. I didn't do this last year. I'm doing it this year. I'm doing lists for the end of the year. I still have some 2020 movies to watch, so that's why we're not talking about the 2020 movies yet besides Hallmark. So here we go. This is my honorable mentions. Let me just make sure I got the 10 here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there we go. So we are going to have some honorable mentions here. Actually, want to know what? We're not going to do honorable mentions. Here we go. Number 10 is A Nashville Christmas Carol. Nashville Christmas Carol is number 10. Why? Because this film was a serious letdown. It is a film that tried to do the Christmas Carol formula, and it failed. It wants to be a romance movie, but it also wants to be a bit of a drama and a comedy, which is what most Hallmark films like to do. But it doesn't have tonal balance. There's no tonal balance there. I love Jesse Schramm, but the thing is, there's no chemistry between her and Wes Brown. This movie sounded interesting. I enjoy movies about stage plays. Heck, I even like the high school Broadway comeback show on Disney Plus called Encore. This film did not work. Number 9 is Good Morning Christmas. This is a romance movie starring Alison Sweeney. Alison Sweeney had Time for You to Come Home for Christmas last year. That one was pretty good. I enjoyed that one. This one, no. There was nothing here. There's nothing good about it besides her acting and the lead guy's acting, as well as the cinematography, and that's pretty much it. There's really nothing there. Number 8, 5-Star Christmas. This one had nothing. There was almost nothing here. It was very mediocre. There's no chemistry between the actors, and I couldn't get into the story. It's not that the writing was bad, it just wasn't working for me personally. Number 6, A Glenbrook Christmas. So, yes, A Glenbrook Christmas. This film was one that was infuriating, because you're watching the movie and the guy is just such an a-hole that they don't redeem him. When you don't redeem your lead character, now most of the time, sometimes in the Hallmark movies, the guy starts out being a little bit of a jerk. And he always comes around. They give you a little reason to start rooting for him to get with, in this case, Autumn Reeser. This film, they didn't do that. All of a sudden, he's just a good guy. All of a sudden, he's no longer an a-hole. And voila. That's not how you do the movie. I'm not going to root for somebody who's just all of a sudden a good guy. You got to redeem him a little bit. Next up, and I have flopped this. Around. Number 5 is Nature. No, that goes a little bit up. Okay, here we go. The Christmas Ring. This film had nothing. This is a Christmas film that did not have the Christmas spirit. They made this with the intention of just shoving it out there. Here's how Hallmark usually is. With Hallmark, they make their mediocre-ish movies in the beginning, okay? They didn't do that this year. You had 2 good ones starting out with Jingle Bell Bride and Chateau Christmas. Normally, they put their okay ones that they put some effort into, but once they hit the Thanksgiving week, that's when they start bumping them out. That's when they know they have their best movies. This year, they didn't have their best movies that week. They did have their best movie of the year, and I will get into that in my top 10 best. But they just shove a bunch of their okay or mediocre slash bad ones in there. So the Christmas Ring is number 5. There was no chemistry. The story was interesting. I will give it that, but they just don't capitalize on the interesting story. Number 4, Love in Store. This is a movie that feels like if QVC paired two people up and started having them fall in love. Now, I will give it this. This movie did have one redeeming quality that made it really enjoyable, and that was Jack A. Harry. This one had her in it. I'm a big fan of her. She's so funny. She gives it her all, but the problem with that movie is they don't use her enough for me to even recommend it or even try to care about it. I don't care about the two leads. They're fighting almost constantly, and all of a sudden they're in love. There's nothing there. Number 3, How to Train Your Puppy. This is a film that could have worked. Now, this is a 2018 movie, but this was a 2020 Hallmark premiere, so it counts as 2020 for me. This was all about a marriage therapist attempts to fix her own marriage by focusing on how to train her husband while using a book about how to train your dog. How to train your puppy. Not to go to the bathroom on the floor. This had Julie Gonzalo. Julie Gonzalo was also in one of, she was also in Jingle Bell Bride, the very first one. The very first Christmas film this year. That one is very good. She was also in another Christmas favorite of mine, Christmas with the Cranks. She's been in a lot of stuff. She was really enjoyable in Pumpkin Pie Wars. I loved her in Falling for Vermont. What happened here? The idea could have been funny if they capitalized on the comedy. This film felt more like a comedy and just trying to take a little dig at the guys a little bit and being like, well, this is what you're doing. And the guy is also doing something to get back at his wife and teach her a lesson. From what I can remember, there is one redeeming quality, and that is they focus on the guy's best friend and his love interest. That couple had chemistry. If you would have focused on them, I wouldn't have hated this movie as much as I did. And this movie infuriated me. But when those two were on screen, these subplot characters were on screen, I cared about it. If you would have given me that, I would have eaten it up. This movie could have worked, but it didn't. This film dropped the ball hard. This one is Bad Date Chronicles. They shoved this one out there. They got the rights to it, and they just put it on Hallmark Channel as a premiere. This film was all about Lee, who runs the website Bad Date Chronicles, which allows people to anonymously post horrible date experiences. When big rival blogger Connor becomes the subject of one of her posts, for one of her posts, they agree to date each other to see which one is the bad dater. The movie focuses so hard on making these dates bad that nobody in their right mind would fall in love with the other person, even if it is for their work. You wouldn't fall in love with this person because you're going on bad date after bad date and you're intentionally going on bad dates. That's not how it works. You don't go on a bad date and automatically fall in love with the person and then you keep on going back for more. and you're just getting more pissed off, and they are your rival. They keep on taking digs at each other, then they start to like each other a little bit out of freaking nowhere. There's nothing here that works. There's not one redeeming quality. It is the lowest grade that I have given a Hallmark movie until A Feeling of Home. This one did premiere on Hallmark Movies Now in 2019. This did not premiere on the Hallmark Channel, so this was not a movie that anybody knew about. Not a lot of people I know even have Hallmark Movies Now. This was all about web entrepreneur Abby hides her Texas roots to convince a backer she's from New England, a task complicated by a trip home and an unexpected reunion with Ryan, her high school sweetheart. This is Jonah. I'm not even gonna give any effort into this one. This one for some reason got a DVD release. I don't know why it got a DVD release. This is the worst one that I saw this year out of all 81 that I had seen. Now, I had not seen 2 of them. I missed 2 mystery movies. I'm sorry I did. But this movie just didn't try as hard as it should have with the chemistry, the writing, the acting. There was nothing redeeming about this movie whatsoever. I barely even wanted to review it. And I keep on flipping back and forth. Bad Day Chronicles, A Feeling of Home. Which one is number 1? It's not a question which one is my number 1 of the whole entire year for Hallmark. It's not even a question what's in my top 5. But A Feeling of Home and Bad Day Chronicles will go back and forth every single time I go back and look at this list. And in my next video, we're going to talk about the top 15 best Hallmark movies. Yes, we're talking about 15. I can't leave it at 10. I like 15 of them, and you're going to get 5 honorable mentions as well as a look at what's coming in January, so I can give you guys a little idea of what to come to the channel. So I will see you guys for the best list and the honorable mentions up next.